Hi and welcome to another Mr. Smith history. This particular episode is looking at the American West module of the Edexcel GCSE exam, and in particular it's focusing on the migration west and why people moved west. So there were a number of factors, and they can be categorised into two camps. The first group would be push factors. So they would be factors that are forcing people to move through no fault of their own. That might be things like the collapse in wheat prices due to poor harvest, overpopulation, persecution, and unemployment, and we'll look at a few of those in a moment. There were also, however, pull factors, things that were a draw from the West, things that were tempting people to move there. That could be the idea of freedom and independence. New fertile land, if there's problems with crops, move somewhere where there was space, there was an abundance of space across the continent. The opening up and discovery of the Oregon Trail, and of course the discovery of gold on the western coast. So I'm just going to take you through a quick timeline of key events that led to people moving across the United States to the western coast. So in 1825, we've got Jebediah Smith. He's discovered a south pass through the Rocky Mountains, allowing easier access to the western seaboard, and he shares this, so people are able to start using this route. Fast forward 11 years, and the first migrants to travel the Oregon Trail by wagon reach their destination. So we've got people using the Oregon Trail, moving across the United States and managing to settle in the West. The following year, there's a financial crisis. This causes huge economic depression for people in the East. They are losing savings. As such, wages are cut. That leads to unemployment and high unemployment. The fall in wheat prices means that many farmers are now facing ruin, and the alternative to staying where they are is to up in sticks and try and find somewhere new. 1841, there's a government-funded expedition map for the Oregon Trail that is published by the government. This works as a guide for people who are trying to travel across the country, so it's making it easier for people to do this travelling. 5 years on, the governor of Illinois tells Mormons to leave the states. They are banished from the state. They are asked to leave, and they have to find somewhere new to settle. They take this as an opportunity to move across the United States to the west. And then, of course, 2 years after, in 1848, gold is discovered in California, a famous reason why people started migrating from the east to the west to try and get rich quick. 10 years later, gold is also discovered in the Rocky Mountains. Again, a huge incentive for people to move to try and make their fortune as quickly as possible. And then in 1874, gold is discovered in the Black Hills in Dakota. Another major factor in migration to the west is that in the early 1800s there was a huge increase in the population in the west, and also the US government were very keen to prevent foreign powers from taking territory in the west of the United States. They wanted to defend it from foreign powers, and this was reflected in the concept of manifest destiny, and that is that it was God's will that white Americans should settle over all of America. And as such, white Americans at the time simply accepted manifest destiny and accepted that it was right and natural, and indeed began to populate and spread across all of the United States. So just to recap on some of the main reasons why migration west happened, you've got the push factors, overpopulation, collapse in wheat, etc., persecution, and you've got pull factors, freedom, independence, fertile land, the discovery of gold, for example. You've got economic depression, high unemployment, people being persecuted, and as we said, discovery of gold. That brings us to the end of the video about migration west and why people did it. You can watch the next video in this series soon to do with the discovery of gold in a little bit more detail. Thanks for listening.